Alright, this is for Troy and Curtis. Y'all want me to do the list of favorite Kiss songs on each album and the least favorite Kiss songs on each album. I listened to both of y'all's. We have a lot of similarities on both of y'all. We have a lot of differences. Uh, I guess we'll start right now with the first Kiss album called Kiss. My favorite song is Cold Gin because it has a great uh, starting guitar riff, and that right there I just love that song. I mean, you got Douche, you got Strutter, but Cold Gin is my favorite on that album. And then my least favorite song is between Kissin' Time, which I think is a stupid song, and Black Diamond, which is great live, but on the studio album it's not. It ends very slow and you just want it to hurry up and get over with. But I will do Kissin' Time because I just think it's a stupid song. Then let's go to the Hotter Than Hell album. A lot of good songs on there. Um, but my personal favorite on this one is going to be Got to Choose. Um, it was a great starter to that album. Hotter Than Hell was very good. Let Me Go Rock and Roll was very good, but I'm going to go with Got to Choose. My least favorite song on there is All the Way. Just not a song I care about. I mean, there's not much to say about it. Third album, Dressed to Kill. A lot of good songs on there, but I'm going to put my favorite as Two Timer. It's just a good song, and I really enjoy it. My other favorite song on there is actually Rock Bottom, but it has a minute and a half intro, and I got bored after a minute and a half for a 3.5 minute song. My least favorite song on there is Getaway. There's not much to say about it. It's just not a good song. And then probably the greatest album of all time is Kiss Alive. I'm like you, Troy. I can listen to this song or this album every day. And again, from top to bottom, there's not a bad song on here on a live album. But if I had to pick my favorite, again, I would probably have to go with Cold Gin. From Paul Stanley, leading up to the song, talking to the crowd, and then, of course, the great guitar riff to start it. I just think it's a great song, and it's a great song live. My other choice probably would have been Rock Bottom. It's a shorter intro, but, it got the little intro, and then it's just a hard rocking song. But I'm going to pick Cold Gin. And since we have to pick a least favorite song, I'm going to do Watching You. For some reason, it just like that song just, I don't know, it just doesn't fit, I guess. It's a great song, but I don't know, if I had to pick, that'd be the one. And then probably let's go to Destroyer, which is probably their best 70s album, studio album. A lot of great songs from Detroit Rock City, Creatures, King of the Nighttime World, God of Thunder, but I'm going to pick, my favorite is going to be Shout It Out Loud. Paul and Gene, they actually sing the song, together in this song, and it's catchy. It's fun to listen to. It's fun to listen to live. I think it's a great song. My least favorite one is Great Expectations. I don't know what they were expecting. It wasn't great. But yeah, that's going to be my least favorite song on that album. Rock and Roll Over. There's several different songs on here that that are hard to choose from for being my favorite. You got "Take Me," "Making Love," and "Calling Doctor Love." Uh, all of them are great songs. I guess me personally, I'm gonna choose "Calling Doctor Love." It's a song that's I think it's great. Uh, and Gene Simmons doesn't have many good songs, so him having a favorite is going to be rare. And my least favorite song is "See You in Your Dreams." It's just not a song that I'll fast forward. The Love Gun album. Again, a lot of great songs on there. Um, from "I Stole Your Love," "Love Gun," even "Hooligan." Great song. One of the rare Peter Criss songs that's actually any good. But I'm gonna pick "I Stole Your Love." It starts the album off and it hits you with a bang. And my least favorite song is "Christine 16." It's not any good. I never liked it, even on "Kiss Alive 2," which I'll get to here in a minute. Um, let's get to that now. "Alive 2," again, top to bottom, a lot of great songs. "Making Love" is great. I'm going to do the live stuff first, and then I'll do the fourth side that has the studio songs. Of course, start with "Detroit Rock City," uh, all the way to "God of Thunder." The first, hearing that live, you know, and having a drum solo in there, it was great. I'm gonna pick "God of Thunder" because of those reasons right there. It's had the bass solo at the beginning, and it was a hard hitting song. You got a drum solo in the middle, and it was a great live version. To hear that way better than the studio version. Um, and then the song that wasn't live, I'm gonna pick "Rocket Ride." Great song by Ace Frehley, and it was the best one out of the five on that side. My least favorite songs, on the live side, "Christine 16." It's just not a good song. Of course, it's a Gene Simmons song. A lot of his songs aren't any good. And then on the studio songs, "Any Way You Want It," just didn't care too much for it. All right, let's go to the solo albums. Let's do Paul Stanley first. A lot of great songs, and his is probably his second on my list out of the solo albums. Um, my favorite is "Move On." Good song. It could have been on a Kiss album. It was a really good song. But my least favorite song, "Ain't Quite Right." There was nothing really right about that song. The Gene Simmons solo album, his was third on my list in order. My favorite song is "Radioactive." It's really the only good song that's on there, in my opinion. And then I don't know my least favorite song. I don't know what he was thinking singing "When You Wish Upon a Star." A demon singing that song just didn't. Oh, yeah. And then Ace Frehley's solo album. In my opinion, he had the best solo album. A lot of good songs on there, from "Rip It Out" to "New York Groove." I'm going to pick "Rip It Out." It starts off the record, and it's a really, really good song. And my least favorite song is going to be "I'm in the Need of Love." I don't think he really is in the need, but whatever. The song is not that good. Probably the worst song on there. And then Peter Criss, I'm right there with Troy. Probably he shouldn't have even done it. He should have just left the band already. And now we're going to get to Disco, do the Dynasty album. And I agree with Troy. It is a great album. When you hear it, now than when we were younger. From Sure Know Something, 2000 Man, I Was Made for Loving You, Magic Touch. Great songs on there, but I'm gonna pick Sure Know Something. The bass part was good. The lyrics was really good, and to me, it's the best song on the album. And then my least favorite song is X-Ray Eyes. Just not a good song. And that's going to end the 70s. And that took the whole 10 and a half minutes. So my video is not going to be 30 minutes like y'all's are. Now let's get to the 80s. We'll do the first couple albums that really aren't any good. But when you go back and listen to the Unmasked album, we got a couple catchy tunes. My favorites actually on the album are the H. Frehley songs. Talk to Me, Two Sides of the Coin, good songs. The starter song, Is That You? That's a great song. But my favorite is Talk to Me. I mean, it's a good song, good solo in there. Yeah, that's gonna be my favorite out of that one. And my least favorite song is totally opposite of what y'all's were. Mine is Shandy. That's just I don't like it. I mean, I know it was big in Australia because I don't know why they like it either. It's not a good song, and it just seems these are big bad guys and they're singing a little song like that. I didn't like it. All right, The Elder. Not many good songs. It's a fun album to listen to, but there's nothing you can really just get up and enjoy it. World Without Heroes and I are really the only two that I like. I'll pick World Without Heroes. It's a different song, but that's the one I would have to pick on that album. And then the least favorite song is Just a Boy. I mean, there's not much to say about that. It's just not any good. And then probably their best, their next album, Creatures of the Night, is probably the best 80s album. A lot of great songs. Big intro with Creatures of the Night. I Still Love You is a great song. I Love It Loud. But my favorite is War Machine. In fact, that's a great song. It's never played on the radio or anything like that, but it's a great song. They still play it live, and to me, it's like one of those songs you can play when you're walking up to bat. It's a great intro, and it's hard hitting. It's a really heavy song. My least favorite song, I have two of them, but I'm gonna go with Danger. It's probably my least favorite song on there. It was between that and Killer, but I'm gonna pick Danger as my least favorite song. All right, let's get to the non-makeup Kiss. They took it off, and they decided to lick it up. The album, it's a great album, really is. I had two favorite songs, Lick It Up and Fits Like a Glove. A rare Gene Simmons song that's actually any good. But I would have to go with Lick It Up. It's it's a great catchy song. My least favorite song is Dance All Over Your Face. Don't care too much for it. It's close to the end of the album anyways, and that's where Gene Simmons songs aren't any good. Animalize. Another great 80s, not great, but another good 80s album. My two favorites on here are Heaven's on Fire and Thrills in the Night, but I'd have to go with Heaven's on Fire. It's just a great rock song. It really is. And like Troy said, he can listen to it anytime and not turn it off. He'll listen to it over and over. Couple of songs that aren't any good, but I'm gonna go with my probably the one I don't like the most is "Murder in High Heels," another Gene Simmons song at the end of the album that's just not any good. Okay, next, very underrated album, Asylum. A lot of catchy tunes. Um, I got a couple of favorites on here, and you got Tears Are Falling that I know Troy don't like. But you got Trial by Fire, which is an actual good song by Gene Simmons. It's one of my favorites by him. But I'm gonna go with All Night. That's my favorite on that album. It's very catchy. It's very cheesy, but it's a great song. I enjoy listening to it. And my least favorite song is "Love Is a Deadly Weapon." I mean, there are a lot of good songs on there, and I chose this one as my least favorite one if I had to choose one. Crazy Nights. I know, Troy, you said you didn't like this one at all. I thought it was a great album, from Reason to Live, No No No, Hell or High Water, Crazy Nights. But the one I'm going to pick is the cheesiest one of all, is my favorite, and that's Bang Bang You. Catchy, corny song, but I think it's a great song. And my least favorite song is Thief in the Night. Again, another Gene Simmons song at the end of the album. They need to stop doing that. And then another underrated album, Hot in the Shade. The last one they did with Eric Carr before he died. A lot of catchy tunes. Forever's on there. Rise to It. But my favorite is Hide Your Heart. And like Troy said, it's a story. One of the few songs that's an actual story that they tell. And great guitar riffs. It's a great song. And my least favorite song, of course, is another Gene Simmons song at the end of the album, Boomerang. They don't need to be singing songs at the end of the album. Alright, let's get to the 90s and probably the best non-makeup album they made, Revenge. A lot of great songs. This one actually has my favorite Gene Simmons songs on there, called Thou Shalt Not. Great heavy song. He actually sounds like the demon. You got Unholy. I Just Wanna. Great songs, but of course I'm going to pick the cheesy one. That's my favorite. Take It Off. Catchy, great rock riffs, guitar riffs, great song to me. And it's actually hard to find a least favorite song on this album, but I'm going to pick Paralyzed like Curtis did. It's really the only song on there that, that's the least favorite of mine. Alright, Alive 3. Great live album from top to bottom. I just wish they would actually done, a whole 20-something song album like they did for the concert video that they had out. From Deuce to I Just Wanna, Unholy, Heaven's on Fire. But I'm going to pick a song that's that they did differently, and it rocked it out. That was I Was Made for Loving You on this album. This was, they made it hard rocking. They had the pyro going off. It didn't sound like the studio version, and it was just a hard rocking song. And that was my favorite song on that album. And of course, having to pick a least favorite song, I would have to go with Watching You again. It just seems that song didn't fit on that album or in that concert. For some reason, that song they could have done another song. All right. Now we got Unplugged. A lot of good songs on there. I mean, starting with Coming Home, Plaster Caster. But I actually have three that I really enjoy listening to. These versions acoustically. Rock Bottom. I just love the intro and how they just jump into it. I Still Love You. Paul Stanley's voice at this time was, he was able to hit the high notes. And then Nothing to Lose. It was all the whole band was together and they were having fun and it sounded great having six guys playing instead of four. So I'm gonna pick Nothing to Lose on that album because it's fun to listen to. And my least favorite song is either between Going Blind or See You Tonight. I really don't care for See You Tonight, even if it came from the Gene Simmons solo album. So I'm going to say See You Tonight. Carnival of Souls. Underrated album. They went grungy, trying to be with the times for that album, but it was still really good. And I like Master and Slave. That's my favorite. It was different. It was hard rocking. Had a little pause in there, and it just picked back up, and it kicked your ass. My least favorite was Childhood's End. I didn't care too much for it, but very underrated album. I really like that album. And my last one is going to be the Psycho Circus album. Even though I do have opinions on Monster and Sonic Boom, but we'll end with Psycho Circus. You got, of course, the title track, Psycho Circus. Uh, Within was really good, but I'm gonna pick a song that nobody even talks about, and that was Dreamin'. To me, it's slower song, but Paul Stanley sounds great on it, and I just love that song. Totally different, and not even even talked about. But it's a great song. I enjoy it, and that's my favorite one from that album. And to end it with the least favorite song, of course, is Peter Criss's song "I Finally Found My Way." I mean, like, it's just a Peter song that shouldn't, he don't even need to be singing. He didn't even play on the album anyways. But that's it. That's my list. And we agreed. We disagreed. My list is a little bit different, but that's how I rank the songs on my albums.